All right, guys, massive breaking news, and it's good news for once. So I want to talk about these Democratic Socialist candidates that were all backed by Zohrann Mamdani, who won their races and are going to Congress. And this is super exciting for a number of reasons. So one, it does seem like Zohrann Mamdani is kind of the new kingmaker in the Democratic Party, but also what it proves is that the things that he ran on are popular, and this really is the blueprint moving forward for Democrats who want to run for office. So I want to start with Brad Lander. Brad Lander defeated Dan Goldman, and this one I am so happy for, because Dan Goldman, if you're not familiar with who this joker is, he's one of the worst corporate Democrats in Congress. Okay, first of all, he comes from ton of money. He's like the heir to the Levi Strauss fortune, if I'm not mistaken. So he comes from a ton of money, but also he takes a ton of money, specifically from the Israel lobby, and he's one of the most outspoken pro-Israel Democrats in Congress. And he supports the genocide and doesn't admit that it's a genocide and all of this. But what's funny is Brad Lander is Jewish, just like Dan Goldman is Jewish, except Brad Lander actually has moral clarity on the issue. And he's said, listen, I thought that what happened on October 7th was horrible, and I don't want that to ever happen again, but I don't think that the solution is to send endless money and weapons to a regime who is bombing children and committing more violence based on, Hamas and October 7th, So, and let's be real, like, there are Democrats who still think that this is okay or that it's justified. Gaza is like 90 to 95% of Gaza is completely leveled. It's unlivable at this point. And they've displaced like 2 million people. There's nobody that can live there anymore. So to still be on board with the government, not Jewish people, the government of Israel, who committed a genocide, who ethnically cleansed an area, and are right now, as we're talking right now, they're doing the same thing to southern Lebanon. They're bombing Iran. They've stolen the Golan Heights from Syria. They're trying to steal Syrian territory. They're doing pogroms in the West Bank. They're stealing Palestinian land in the West Bank. And all of this is at the barrel of a gun, or, something. Like, this is who the Israeli government is, not the Jewish people, the Israeli government. And so to finally get somebody like Dan Goldman out of there, because he really doesn't represent what most people in the country would like. And let's not get it twisted. Like, this isn't just a Democrat issue. Most people don't think that we should be sending endless money and weapons to Israel. So really excited that Lander won and Goldman lost. Thank God. I mean, what he's probably going to do is he's probably just going to go straight over to K Street and start working for AIPAC to try and lobby more Democrats. But he's out of Congress. That's undeniably good news. We also have Claire Valdez won her race, and Daria Lisa Alvita, I'm messing up her last name. I can't remember it. But all of them won their races. All of them label themselves as like Democratic Socialists, and all of them have amazing platforms that are very similar to Zohrann's. And so if you go through their policy, and I'll just put up one of them here on the screen, all of them support things like abolishing ICE, Medicare for all, investing more in education, investing more in healthcare. Hers says babies not bombs, housing for all. So like the affordability thing, fighting corporate greed, which is like raising taxes on corporations and billionaires. These are all things that are super popular if you poll the American people. They're all super popular, but if you ask somebody, like a Republican, obviously, they're, the radical left policy. It's radical to not want to send endless money and weapons to a country that's committing a genocide on multiple fronts. That's radical, right? It's radical to want to invest money in this country and give people health care and give people affordable housing and make public transit, affordable if not free, all these things. Oh, that's radical. And also you have the classic, well, how are you going to pay for it? On that note, they have never asked that question once when it comes to war. Never once have they asked, how are you going to pay for it? In fact, Pete Hegseth is literally asking for an additional $80 billion to pay for more war with Iran. They never asked that question. Ooh, where's the money come from? How are you going to pay for it? If it's something that benefits people, most people, you want to give people health care? How are you going to pay for it? You want to give people education? How are you going to pay for it? You want to make child care free? How are you going to pay for it? It's like we want to raise taxes on the ultra wealthy. And, and if people had to pay for health care through their taxes, it comes out of your taxes, but a healthcare premium is a tax anyway. You have to pay for it anyway. And the problem with our current healthcare system is, one, it's more expensive than universal healthcare, and two, is that they can raise their premium whenever they want, and also they can deny care, right? Because it's not profitable. So anyway, I think that this is definitely a bellwether for where the Democratic Party is going. And I'm so excited because the corporate Democrats, even though they're in denial, I think they understand that, they're on their way out. And people like Hakeem Jeffries is still saying, well, just because Zohrann and all of his, all the candidates that he endorsed won, doesn't mean that we're going to change what we believe as Democrats and how we, how we vote as Democrats. It's the reason the Democratic Party is literally less popular than the Republicans and Trump right now is because you stand for nothing. People hate you. Hakeem Jeffries is a freaking joke. The reason why people hate the Democrats is because leadership like leadership like Chuck Schumer, where you take money from the exact same pimps that the Republican Party takes money from. You guys, let's just cut the bullshit. The Republican Party is a fascist party. There is no two ways around it anymore. They support taking away voting rights. They support throwing people in concentration camps. They support, protecting pedophiles. They support, it's ridiculous. And if you halfway agree with Republicans, that means you halfway agree with fascists. And so what are you doing? You're not an opposition party. And so I'm so excited that it looks like this is the tide finally turning, and the real Democratic Party, what the Democratic Party should have always been, is finally coming around. And people like Bernie Sanders were kind of the first wave, the AOCs and Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and those kind of candidates, the Justice Democrat candidates. But now you're seeing, this isn't just happening in New York, right? This is 3 candidates in New York, but, you're seeing this all over the country. Okay, so you've got, in Maine, you have Graham Plattner, who looks like he is going to dog walk Susan Collins, and I can't wait. And they're trying to destroy him over, oh, he got a tattoo 20 years ago that may or may not be a Nazi tattoo. And he's like, oh, I didn't know I was, 20 years old. Here, I'll get it covered up. No big deal, right? And they're trying to go after him over all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's not working because people care about policy. They don't care about a tattoo that he got, or they don't care about what happened in his marriage. The same thing is happening also in Michigan with Abdul al-Sayed. So the left is ascendant, and this is super exciting because, like I said, I don't think the corporate Democrats really know what to do, and they're either going to have to just join the Republican Party or bend the knee finally. Because, everybody's pretty much tired of corporate, mealy-mouthed, centrist, status quo manager bullshit. And it couldn't happen at a better time. It should have happened before we got Trump. If it had happened before we got Trump, we never would have had Trump in the first place. I digress. But it's exciting, and I'm really looking forward to 2026, if the if the Republicans don't steal it. Anyway, if you guys made it this far, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, click the bell as well. That way YouTube will hopefully notify you the next time I drop a video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.